Thanks for tuning in. I'm Helen Proimos, and I'm here at Becky's Drive-In. We're going to see Munsters go home. And Butch Patrick is here, who played Eddie Munster. He's signing autographs and meeting people. They're so excited to meet him, as am I. So stay with us. Welcome to Stage, Screen, and In Between with Helen. I'm Helen Proimos, and I have a most fantastic show for you today. I am with Butch Patrick from the Munsters fame, and we're here at Becky's Drive-In. I am so honored to meet you.
Thank you.
Grew up watching you, and I have so many things I want to know about some of the episodes that you did.
Well, we've got 70 episodes, but we only got 20 minutes, so I'll talk fast.
I know. But that was 2 seasons, though, right? Didn't they have a lot of episodes in one season?
In the old days, back in the 60s, they did 39 episodes a year was the norm, which we did on the first year. The second year, Fred's health was a little bit suffering, so we only did 31, and we did a wrap after 70 episodes, yes.
Oh, okay. So let's go back a little bit. You started because you actually were discovered by going with your sister to get her headshots, right?
Yep. She was going to be, they wanted her to get into modeling. She was 3 years old. I was 7 years old. And after he was done taking her photo, he took a couple pictures of me, and one of them was placed in his window on Hollywood Boulevard that drew the attention of a director and a producer who happened to be casting a movie that they still needed the youngest son of Eddie Albert and Jane Wyatt.
Wow. And you did that movie, and then your career just snowballed from there. So...
Yeah, I mean,
it did.
I didn't. Yeah, it was an accidental situation, but it came easy to me, and I never wanted to make a career of it. So I did it for 14 years until I was 21, and then I pretty much phased out and just went about doing my normal life stuff.
Yeah, but you were able to coordinate your childhood along with the acting, right? You participated. You went to regular school in between your episodes, or no?
Yeah, I was back and forth between public schools and the tutoring on the set when you'd be working. Although in the junior and senior year of college, junior and senior year of high school, I did go to a school called Hollywood Professional because I left the country to do a movie, and the public school system wouldn't allow my work. They were going to hold me back a year, and I didn't want to get held back a year, so I enrolled in a professional school that catered to TV kids.
Now, there was something about your look wasn't looking scary enough, right? So the makeup artist had to do some special things to you, like the widow's peak and the pointed ears.
And the eyebrows. Mike Westmore, the world famous makeup man, was my first guy, and I was his first ward when he was an apprentice, and we're still friends today. But yeah, Eddie was too normal looking to be believable as the offspring of Herman and Lily, and he took care of it with eyebrows, a widow's peak, and luckily my teeth were my real teeth. Those were my fangs, and that's what that's what they added. They added the hairpiece and the eyebrows.
Oh, and you work with terrific actors. Also, you had Al Lewis as Grandpa, and you had Fred Gwynne as Herman,
yep.
And Lily was Yvonne DiCarlo.
Right, and we had 2 Marilyns.
Yes.
Beverly Owen did the first 13 episodes, and when she left to go back to New York, Pat Priest stepped in and did the other 57.
Yeah. And how was it working with everybody? They seemed to really love you.
They all had kids about my age. They were very, very nice and very pleasant to me, and I think I did a good enough job to where I wasn't a liability, and they didn't have to keep redoing things because the kid kept messing up. So the fact that I was professional, I think they appreciated that.
Yeah, yeah. Now, there were several episodes that actually featured you. Do you remember the episode that you did with Herman when you wanted to be on the track team, and he had to teach you, he was showing you how to throw the javelin and et cetera? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was like a little decathlon. He was the shot put and the javelin and the running and this and that, jumping and the high jump. Yeah, I do remember that, yes.
Yeah. Do you have anything particular that maybe went wrong that was funny or?
Not in that particular episode. We had some fun when I was on wires and when I'd get thrown through the ceiling, or when we'd go out in the car and this and that. But there were a lot of great father and son episodes, though.
Yeah, and then you had the one where you were running away because you were jealous of the robot that came in.
Yes, Grandpa made Boris the robot, and Herman was giving him too much attention.
Yeah. And then at the end, Boris runs away because he overheard Herman professing his love for you, and he got jealous.
You know your Munsters.
A little bit. And then there was the Hot Rod episode that you did.
That's one of my favorites, Hot Rod Herman, the actual Dragula that was built to win the car back, because very famous car. George Barris built not only the Munster coach, then the Dragula before he went on to do the Batmobile and many other cars. I have a Munsters coach and a Dragula. I'm kind of a gearhead, so I grew up in the 60s with muscle cars and connections to Mr. Barris and drag racing and this and that. So I find that's one of the reasons at the drive-in I found a niche for myself to go around the country featuring movies and vehicles and Americana.
And tonight you have your Dragula car.
I do. I have my Dragula, and I also have my Eddie Chopper, although that was not in the series because this would have been what Eddie would have ridden as an adult. But yeah, we're showing Munster Go Home, which features the coach and the Dragula and a lot of other great cars from the Shropshire Derby that was supposedly driven over in England, although we never left the back lot of Universal.
Right. So now, how hard was it for you as a child to learn your lines?
Came pretty easy to me, luckily. Probably couldn't do it today, but back then it was a snap.
Now, Spot was your dragon that came out of the staircase. Yes. How did you like working with Spot?
Working with him was great. Feeding him and cleaning up after him was the problem.
That was the problem. I love when you used to make different entrances. You would sometimes come down a fireman's pole. You would come out of a kitchen cabinet. How did they do the kitchen cabinet?
Yeah, I was small, and they would put me in the cabinet, and I also came out from the grandfather clock. I also came out from behind the fireplace. I also came out from the suit of armor at the top of the stairs. They had Eddie, because I was small and agile, they would write me into interesting places to appear from, for sure.
Yeah. So now, this was a shot in a studio on a Hollywood lot?
Universal Studios.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you would like to be able to go outside when you were doing a scene with the car because you get some daylight, right?
Yeah, that's some of the episodes when I would read the script and see that the Munster coach was going to be used, hopefully with me in it. It would give us a little chance to be outside in between, and most of the time we were in a dark, dingy soundstage that was very dusty and dark, but occasionally we would see the light of day.
Yeah, I know. Well, you were actually airing on different days because you had another show that was similar but very, very different from you, The Addams Family, right?
I thought you were talking about Gilligan's Island. No, yes, the Addams Family. Yeah, they were on ABC Friday night. We were on Thursday night on CBS, and we complemented each other very well. I'd like to think we each helped each other's existence.
You did, and you know what was nice? You were kind of, what would you say? Middle class, middle of the road, more you can connect with you better because actually the Addams Family were more a little uppity.
Well, the Addams Family was based on the Addams Family from the New Yorker magazine, which was a very dark humor comic strip. And the Munsters was produced by the people that did Leave It to Beaver. And the Munsters were basically just a average American family who happened to be monsters. And we had family values where the Addams Family was a little dark and edgy and a little macabre.
Yeah. So did you have any idea at the time when you were filming the series that it would have such longevity?
No one did that. Back then, it was you did a series and it went off the air, and you did another series, and reruns didn't exist. The syndication phenomenon happened after the 60s, and that's why so many of the shows in the 60s were staples in the syndication market, because they were so entertaining, and they were looking for things that they could repeat over and over and over again. And back in the 60s, a lot of shows were based in non-reality. I did Mr. Ed's, I did My Favorite Martian, I did I Dream of Jeannie.
All great
shows. And they were all just there for pure entertainment value, not to give a reality check to anybody. It was there to laugh and have a good time, and those shows did well in syndication.
Yeah. Tell us something about this series that you're doing, because you're going to various drive-ins. Tell everybody about it.
Well, I travel the country anyway with my cars and do a lot of car-related events. I always enjoyed going to the drive-in as a kid. I thought, wouldn't it be great if we could integrate showing Munster Go Home and its 60th anniversary, and then the way to do it would be to go to drive-ins, which a lot of kids never really got a chance to experience like I did. So me and and my team got together and we thought it. I thought it up, but basically it takes a team to do this. So what we do is we contact drive-in owners and let them know that midweek if they would like to do a screening, because the weekends are usually taken up by the new releases and they're not available and they're contractually obligated to show those. But some theaters have multiple screens, but usually we do Monday through Thursday midweek screenings of Munster Go Home, and then hopefully next year I'll supply them with other celebrities and other cars and other movies related from the 60s and 70s that will draw out a new generation of kids. And the Summer Scream series, the meaning of that is we're going to film on property an actual series of murders like a Michael Myers situation that we will integrate into a movie at the end of the summer. And we entice people to come out by saying, if you come out to the movie drive-in, you might be in a movie, you might be murdered. And if nothing else, we have a drone. We will have drones flying all over, filming people tonight while they sit in their car. So the idea is dive in at the drive-in to come out. And if you ever thought about being in a horror movie, now's your chance.
That's a great invitation.
I know. Even though the Munsters is not really a horror movie, we want to get the kids out here, and I think we're doing a good job.
Were there any other Munster movies?
No, Munster. Well, yeah, there were, but Munster Go Home was the only one that I was involved with. They did the Munsters Revenge a few years later, about 1981, I believe that was. Then they did Scary Little Christmas in Australia. Then they did Here Come the Munsters. Then they did the Munsters Today series. Then they did 13th. They did Mockingbird Lane, and then they also just recently did Rob Zombie's Munster movie. So there's been 6 movies.
Oh, so now Daniel Roebuck also plays. Herman Munster, right? He played Grandpa. Yeah. That's right, Grandpa. Yeah, Grandpa.
They called him the Count Dracula, and Dan is a local boy, and he's actually the one that set me up with the Drive-In Owners Association when I told him what I was up to. He says, if you're going to do that, you need to talk to the people that run the association, and here we are today. About a year later, I went to the convention. I met with the bosses and the people and the owners, and it took a little bit of doing, but we're actually we did 2 tests last year, and over at the Field of Dreams and the Vandel with the Rob and Donna Saunders, who are in charge of the association marketing, and here we are.
Wow, I know. I watch him regularly on Matlock.
Danny's he's a local legend around here. He's a very wonderful guy, very talented, does wonderful things, very motivated to help communities and help people, and I'm lucky to have him on my team. What
are some of your favorite oldie TV shows other than the Munsters?
Twilight Zone, The Honeymooners. Yeah. I liked Mr. Ed a lot when I was a kid. Some of the Wild Wild West, I remember I liked that a lot. Route 66 I thought was pretty cool. But that's a few.
When you were a kid and they would have galas or events because of the Munsters, were you part of it or were you left out because you were a child?
There weren't a lot of gala events back in the day, but because you were a kid, mostly there just wasn't a lot of talk shows and game shows and this and that. But I lived 30 miles from Hollywood, and I really was just a regular kid, so I didn't really look forward to participating in that anyway.
Yeah.
And the secondary, I did the art letter show, and I did a few things here and there, but it's nothing like it is today. It was you're looking at 61 years ago.
Yeah. Well, now everybody can pick up a camera, just like I do, and make a TV show. So, speaking of this, but for you to land a role on such a show like the Munsters was so unique at that time. There weren't a lot of jobs for child actors, other than like Patty Duke.
Well, there was My Three Sons, and there were some kid actors out there, no doubt about it. Ronnie Howard on Andy Griffith and this and that, but there was nothing like today. It was limited, and like I say, I just was lucky at the time and did the job well. I was never a career actor. I wanted to be a race car driver, which never.
Thank goodness that didn't pan out.
Never panned out, but I've been very blessed, and I'm still around cars. I'm still around fans. I got lucky enough to be on a show that has endured well, and people really enjoy it, and grandparents and parents and kids, they can all watch it together and enjoy it, and that's pretty rare.
So your mom must have been very interested in entertainment world.
No, she was, like I say, the whole family, we were just accidentally cast into it. The closest thing we had to anybody in the business was my Uncle John supplied horses, and his son was a stuntman who was Zorro's stunt double. That was as close as anybody in the movie business at that time for us.
He had a actual a big farm with horses, didn't he?
Newhall, yeah, we had a ranch out in Newhall with supplied horses, like I say, and we were actually next door to the Spahn Ranch, which Charlie Manson hung out at. And my aunt was Georgia's, her maiden name was Spahn, Georgia Spahn. Oh. So my Uncle John married old man Spahn's daughter.
Do you ride?
I do.
You do? What do you like, English, Western?
Western. My uncle was a jockey, and my other uncle was a trainer. So, yeah, I was around horses. I did a lot of Westerns because I could ride a horse.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they don't have too many anymore.
No. Well, Kevin Costner, and he did quite a few.
Yeah, but he has a real calling to do that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I know when I grew up, you saw a lot of horseback pictures, and then you had the Gunsmoke and.
I did 2 Gunsmokes. I did 2 Bonanzas. I did a Rawhide, a Daniel Boone, a Death Valley Days. I did 7. I did a movie with Audie Murphy called Showdown, another Western. If you don't know who Audie Murphy is, look him up.
What a career you've had.
Thank you.
Really? You have been on every major show.
Not everyone, but a few.
More than a few.
Yeah,
Come on, give yourself credit.
I put a little sheet out on my table with my credits so people say, well, did you do anything else? It's easier to let them read it than to
because there is a lot, and you have to have a good memory to remember it all.
Thank you. Yeah.
There's so many of them. So where do you go from here?
Tomorrow, I'm going to Haas Drive-In and do the same thing we're doing here. And then I'm heading over to Pittsburgh for a Monster Bash convention featuring Danny Roebuck will be there. And the kids from Land of the Lost, another Sid and Marty Krofft show. I did Lidsville in 1971, so I'm part of the Sid and Marty Krofft camp. And we got people coming in, so we're going to have to wrap this up here pretty soon.
Yes, we will. Just for 1 second, tell me, that car that we have here, the Dragula car, did you build that or did somebody help you?
George Bears built it. This one here was built by a friend of mine in Missouri, and it's 3 years old.
Okay. Can't wait to see it. We're going to get pictures of that, too. Thank you so much. Butch Patrick, fabulous career. Eddie Munster, thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Helen. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Need assistance or you good?
No, we're good.
You good?
We're good.
That was pretty smooth. Nice talk. I imagine this is going to be a little loud.
It's gonna be a little loud.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's your clue.
Yeah, there's your cue back up.
That's quiet. I think that'll be loud.
I'm here with Tom Devlin from the Monster Museum in Las Vegas, and he is here for this exciting event. What do you think about this?
Oh, I'm super excited to see. I've always wanted to see Munster go home on the big screen, and just to see Butch and pulling this all together, it's really amazing.
So you're actually going around with Butch and helping him out, right?
Yeah, we left on Saturday night from Belmont, Texas. This has been a road trip that I'll just remember forever. But this is our first step here at Becky's Drive-In in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, and then we're on to the next.
Yeah. So tell us something about your museum in Las Vegas.
So my museum, Tom Devlin's Monster Museum, strives to preserve the art and history of practical effects. So physical monsters and characters created for film. It goes all the way from the silent film era through modern horror. But much like Herman Munster, created by Michael Westmore and Grandpa and that stuff, that is those are practical effects that we're losing due to CGI.
Yeah.
You know.
And so you have Frankenstein.
Oh, we've got Frankenstein's monster, the mummy, a whole thing to Jack Pierce, who created the Universal Monsters. We go back as far as the silent film era with Lon Chaney, and then also Nosferatu from the German Expressionist films.
Okay. Is this like a wax museum, or is this from movie sets?
So it's similar to a wax museum. It's kind of like if a wax museum met a roadside attraction. So everything in there I created. It's all one-of-a-kind works of art.
Really?
Nothing that has
So
been...
you're an artist.
Oh, I'm an artist. I've been an effects artist for 25 years in Hollywood. So a lot of my screen use props are in there. And then other things like the Frankenstein and Lon Chaney tributes that I created because they honor the craft that I have celebrated, you know.
Yeah, that's amazing. So how did you start doing this?
So I actually grew up here in the Northeast in East Stroudsburg. And in about 1999, I moved west to Los Angeles, California, and got a job on X-Files. And after X-Files, I moved on to a film called The Scorpion King, and the rest is history. I've been a Hollywood guy since I left Pennsylvania.
That's amazing. So how can people follow you? And if they go to Vegas, what's the address?
So if you come out to Las Vegas, we are 1310 Boulder City Parkway, Boulder City, Nevada. We're about 20 minutes off the Strip. And we also have a second museum that is an alien museum called Outpost 51.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's a great day trip to get off the Strip. If you're a movie enthusiast, if you're an art enthusiast, if you want to come out and meet me, I'm usually around. But you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Tom Devlin's 1313 Effects, or Tom Devlin's Monster Museum.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Okay, on the dash next to the sticker.
Yeah, if you can get it in here.
Yeah, I'll make that happen. Great.
Get that, that's cool.
There you go.
How cool is
How's that for a memento, huh?
Well,
That's neat.
That okay for you? Oh, that's awesome.
absolutely.
Alrighty.
Looks good.
We're good to go. Let me put my pins away. Okay.
Right now, I'm with LORNE and Deb Kresge, and they have what everybody calls the Monstermobile.
Yep, it's a 1930 Ford. It's a Chevy motor in it, though, of course. I have it for about 10 years. Basically, it's a rat rod. No wipers, no heat, no air conditioning, but it does have disc brakes and everything else on it. It's a very well-built car. It's all steel.
Did you build it?
And Bondo.
Did you?
No, I didn't build it. I bought it this way, like I said, like 10 years ago.
What's everybody's reaction when you pull in for gas? 'Cause
Well,
you have
today
to
I
get
pulled
gas.
in for gas on the way here, and the guy goes, "Can I take a picture of it?" I'm like, "Sure."
So, what happens around Halloween time? I bet you could have trunk or treat.
It gets on display at a lot of places during Halloween. Definitely does. And we have a big and Halloween parades, but we have a big spider that goes on top of it. I have a light show that goes underneath it, a smoke thing that comes out and everything like that, like smoke all around it. We've had it at several places during Halloween.
You excited to see Munsters go home?
Absolutely.
We saw it multiple times.
You
Yeah,
did?
yeah.
It's the first time for me. Well, have a good time
All right.
tonight.
Thank you.
I'll give you a little backstory to how it came about. Second season of the Munsters was winding down, and instead of doing an extra 13 episodes, Fred Gwynn's health was kind of diminishing because the suit was so hot and his weight had come down, so they decided to forego a third season and make a feature movie in color to introduce the world to the Munsters, which would then lead to later syndication. We have a great cast. Debbie Watson stepped in as a redhead Marilyn because she was a contract Universal player that had a new series named Karen that they wanted to get publicity for. So Pat Priest was let go, and Debbie Watson stepped in as a redheaded Marilyn. The English actors that came into play, as we were supposed to go to England, although we never left the back lot of Universal, starred Hermione Gingold, a very famous English actress, Terry Thomas, that many, many people know, and a few scenes with Bernard Fox, a very young Richard Dawson, before Family Feud and Hogan's Heroes, and also a few others you probably would recognize. Anyway, it's after 9 o'clock, it's dark, and let's get the show on the road. Enjoy Munsters Go Home, and I can't thank the Becky's staff and the ownership here at Becky's for letting us start our Summer Scream season here at their wonderful facility. I love this drive-in, and keep coming out and make it a community thing. Thanks everybody for the sponsors and the ownership and all the staff. Enjoy Munster Go Home, and I'll see you next year.